I mean, I look forward to potentially seeing like what it is, why they put something in
Yeah.
his mouth.
Yes.
I feel like that in and of itself is like will kill him just as badly than like the snake, because like what kind of bacteria is in that? Is it part of the boar? Is it the boar's leg, a tail? I don't know. The bacteria on that is just gotta be just horrible, and like
Yeah.
you're dead already again.
I like how it comes down to the bacteria. Like maybe they had hand sanitizer and they just doused it in hand sanitizer first.
What are your thoughts on Netflix buying Warner Brothers?
Okay, so I have like two thoughts. I mean, three thoughts. The first thought is like, oh, it's a monopoly and it shouldn't be approved. The second thought is I'd read a thing and it was like, oh, Netflix has this many subscribers and HBO Max has this many subscribers. So then they're going to combine and it'll be a total of this many subscribers. And it's like,
That's
do
math.
do
Yeah.
do people not know that people subscribe to multiple like channels? It just makes it cheaper for people potentially because they'll be able to not have to subscribe to HBO Max and Netflix. But it's not like it's like a 1-to-1, you just add them. Though the interesting thing that I recently saw, and this was like I think it's an Instagram Reels like entertainment lawyer discussion that I thought was really cool. Not cool, but like an inside track, is one of them was arguing Netflix doesn't actually want to buy Warner Brothers. It's all like a bigger play, and essentially when two giant companies merge, there's an investigation on making sure that it's proper for the merger and there's no monopoly. And during that time, the company that is being bought is sort of under investigation for like 1.5 to 2 years, and all of their items are sort of frozen. And so this entertainment lawyer was saying it's a ploy from Netflix to essentially freeze HBO Max and get all of the like new creative content. And people be like, well, HBO Max, they're not going to be able to, Warner Brothers not going to be able to spend money because they're under investigation and they're being bought. So I'm just going to sell to Netflix. And so Netflix wants to win in the end. And so it's a plan to like undermine the competition.
Yeah, I've heard some of those conspiracy theories. I mean, I don't know the nuances of like, oh, they can't spend money. I mean, they got to spend money to do their business, but
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I don't think they can make like sweeping like strategic changes to their business. Like, oh, we're gonna go and just put stuff on TikTok or something like that,
Yeah.
whatever. Just something like crazy. Like, I think it'll be like, yes, they're still gonna be making movies and TV shows and putting content in theaters and on HBO, but like bigger strategy business changes they can't do. Yeah, but I've heard that that conspiracy theory. But just like your thoughts on like, is this good? Another like studio going away? Like, are you
No. I
like
mean, it's also not good for theaters because Netflix is like, everything should just be streaming. Nobody wants to go to a theater, which is not true. And, even though I don't get to go to the theater, it's not like I don't want to. That I think saying the theater experience is not like an enjoyable experience, an experience that is part of movies is crazy. I mean, we have the new Avatar coming out sometime soon, and what is it, next month or two? And
no, this month.
This month.
It's like in like 15 days, 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
I saw Avatar 1 in theaters in 3D IMAX, I think 2 times, maybe 3 times, just because the visuals of that it was able to present, like you can't match that at home. I watched it at home. I tried to watch it at home once and I was like, oh God, this is not like a movie that I would enjoy watching for the story or the script. But visually was so impressive, and being able to do in such a thing, IMAX 3D is an experience. To like say that that's not a value because it's a streamer, I think would be, a loss. What do you think?
In terms of the Netflix buying Warner
Yeah.
Brothers, I think it's yeah, I'm not supportive of it. Yeah, they say, oh, we will keep they're right now they're saying, oh, we will keep theater movies in theaters, but like, what's that?
The
Two
prom, yeah,
weeks, 3 weeks? It's like
and you can
I go to the
promise
movies a
things.
lot, but like
Yeah.
it's like I sometimes you can't go like within the first couple weekends, and it's like okay, like I'd like to see the new Batman in theaters or the new Dune in theaters,
Hmm.
you know. But if I can't catch it in the first couple weekends, it's like then it's like oh, it's on Netflix. So it's like okay,
Yeah, I mean, there's been discussion in sort of like the indie world that if if the merger does come through or the buyout and Netflix, does the thing that a lot of big companies do, which is like, oh, we promise these things that people want. And then they do that for like the first 6 months or a year. And then they're like, we've strategically decided to change the plan. And now we're not doing theatrical releases. There's been discussion in the indie world of like, maybe then that's the opportunity where real indie films will start coming back, that these lower budget films that can do theatrical runs and don't need to necessarily or want to necessarily go directly to a streamer, and that small box office income would make a difference with them, that maybe they'll have sort of a resurgence. And
mm-hmm.
also given the fact that a lot of these big companies are now run kind of by like hedge funds or kind of finance people who are basing their decisions to greenlight things on algorithms and not on like, hey, this sounds like a really interesting idea that people would watch. It's oh, it has to have a love interest. I mean, I'm just finished watching the latest season of The Witcher, and it's clear that they took a turn, and it's like, we have to have more sex scenes, and we have to try and add these things that like aren't interesting for the story, are kind of boring and take away from it. I mean, it's the reason Henry Cavill left being the lead, is he was like, it's going so far away from the original content, and they're
Mm-hmm.
adding in these like relationship elements that don't add anything to the story. And it's part of this algorithm. It's part of this, like, I you know did sort of a pitch thing, and they were like, oh, you need to have a female, you need like a love interest, and there needs to be some sexual tension and maybe some sex, because like that's what this part of the population did in some survey that was done X number of years ago. I
Yeah,
think,
I mean that's that. I mean, I don't think that's just Netflix. I think you can look at that like at all the studios do that kind of thing. You know, it's
oh,
like
no, no, I agree. Yeah, yeah. I was just saying, like, I think all of that's where the industry has been going for so long with these like big conglomerates, that maybe
mhm.
the indie world, which doesn't have to sort of leverage
Yeah,
that, will have a resurgence. Yeah, yeah.
the indie movies definitely are not like as commercial, and they don't do the sort of studio schlock, and they more original stories, and they take risks, and they're
Yeah,
edgier
yeah.
and things like that. So I think there's a world where like there is that balance of all
Hmm.
of that, again.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think like it's odd. Like I don't know if who knows what will come of this, but yeah, I think it is kind of like dangerous because there's like oh Netflix wants the IP from Warner Brothers, and
Hmm.
they're just gonna hold that. They're not gonna license that to others. So like they're just like just hoarding all this arsenal, and that's how sort of like
I mean,
now
Disney
you're
is
sort
the
of
same, right?
um
If you want to
do
watch
they
Star Wars, if
license?
you want to watch Star Wars, you're watching it on Disney Plus now. I mean, that's sort of
Yeah.
like, I feel like that's the game, is they find things that people want to keep coming back to, and then they're buying that content.
Yeah, but do they license their other stuff to? Do they license anything to like Netflix or Amazon?
I don't
Can't
know.
think of
I
any.
don't
I
think
mean,
so.
obviously
Yeah.
your big prop, yeah, your Marvels and your Star Wars properties, they're locked under Disney Plus.
Well, and the thing, and the other thing is Paramount. Paramount just got bought, right?
Yeah.
By Ellison, who is like a Trump supporter and has a huge library of companies now, of media companies. It'll be interesting because I've one of the other things that was sort of floating around, at least that I heard, is normally the mergers of these giant companies would be blocked as monopolies, but the Paramount purchase, probably not because of, or not because of Ellison supporting Trump. But then there was like, oh, but Netflix, it donates to Trump, but not as much as Ellison, and Ellison wanted it. would the Netflix buying Warner Brothers be not approved just to make way for Ellison, but now Ellison has this counter. It's
Mhm.
yeah. But it also seems absurd if like three people control all of the media. Like then it's first of all going to be boring because it's all going to like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like with Skydance, that's David Ellison's
Yep,
company
yep.
buying Paramount. I don't know. That wasn't because it wasn't like one movie studio absorbing another. They were basically a huge production company, but
Yep.
they weren't like Disney buying Fox and then one went away.
Yep.
This is just more of like a corporation. But now like Paramount acquiring Warner Brothers feels weird too, because then you're just like losing another,
Mhm.
and it's like, what is that? You're really gonna have two studios that
No, yeah,
were
it'll be
competitors before, and like you're just gonna merge the two, and I don't know.
I think it's more absorption. I think it's not necessarily like the Borg in Star Trek, but it's like acquiring content. I think it's similar to like what Disney Plus does with Star Wars and the Marvel content is like
Mhm.
I think the new plan is you keep people buying your subscription because you've got an IP that you can't find anywhere else that people like coming back to.
Yeah.
Like Marvel, like Star Wars, and you can build on that, right? I mean,
Mhm.
so say Netflix gets, they've Warner Brothers, so that's the DC universe essentially, right? Like they can then build on that content which people like coming back to.
Yeah, and like I'm not against that where they're just like, oh, let's milk it. It's like
I'm against
let's
it a little bit
make.
for some of the like over amount of Star Wars like derivative works that have come out. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yes, because it becomes watered down. Yeah, like as like a fan of the content and the
yep,
IP and whatever the stories. Yes, it's like, oh, it's quantity over quality and it's not good. But like I look at it on the other side, it's like, look, it's putting people to work. When you have
mm-hmm,
all these shows, you got people working on screen behind the scenes. Like, do it, whatever. You don't have to watch it.
yeah.
You
No,
don't
that's
have
true. I
to
mean,
watch
I'm
this
not,
stuff.
I'm not,
You know.
I'm not against more production because I think production has been down, and like no, don't necessarily need to go into a discussion on like verticals, which is the sort of new thing that is actually doing productions. But yeah, I think I'm for productions. I just wish they put more money towards good productions.
I mean, good is subjective. Like, if you're an executive for a studio, you're saying, "I like this. This looks good. Go execute and deliver." And it's like, some people deliver and some people don't. And it's like, whatever. And some people like the show, some people don't. Like when Amazon bought, uh, they bought MGM a while back, and then they made the deal with the Broccolis to take over James Bond property. So now
Okay.
Amazon owns 100% full creative control over the Bond properties. And they paid like a good sum. And now,
Yeah.
like, those OG producers are not involved anymore. And so people are like, oh, now Amazon's going to do it. And there's like rumors of like, oh, they're going to do spin offs and a Moneypenny show. And maybe see how Q has his own, like, has,
Dude,
has his
I'd
own
watch
show.
it. I'd watch Q. I'd watch a
And
Q
it's
TV
like,
show.
people are like, ah, oh, this is going to suck. And it's like, well, yeah, but you don't have to watch it.
Yeah, no, I
And
agree with that. I agree with that.
like all those Marvels, I'm so behind on the Marvel shows. It's just like, what, they weren't. I started losing interest because they weren't good, and it's like, whatever. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but good for them. Make more shows, put people in work,
But
especially
I
this
mean,
industry has
but
been
it also
less.
depends. It depends on the movie. Like, I tried to watch Black Widow, and I couldn't make it through it. It just
Yeah, not
like it.
everything's gonna be a hit. For, not gonna
Yeah.
land. It's like, so I'm for that. Like, it's like, look, but like I feel like Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers. Yes, they'll probably milk more property. Like, hey, but it's like, okay, silly, whatever. That's I'm not gonna watch it. Like, yeah,
Oh, and
it's
no, no, no. I mean, I'm not like fully against it. I just was. I think that is going to be the new play. Like, with the sort of I'll call it the streaming wars or the disruptors of
mm-hmm,
being streaming, and then you had the SAG-AFTRA strike. Essentially, was like, hey, you have to pay people properly, and they're like, but we don't have a working model that has a profit, and it sort of forced that issue. That I think we're going to see more consolidation and more of this like holding on to their IP and not sharing it, like you sort of started this conversation with a little
yeah.
bit, which will be interesting. I mean, it'll force people to have these subscriptions, you know? Shall we jump in?
Let's do it.
Well, everybody, welcome back to Trailer Teardowns. I'm one of your co-hosts, Evan Bass-Seisel, joined by other co-host Angel Acevedo, and today we're discussing the trailer for Anaconda. I don't know. I feel like you need to like say it kind of celebratory.
You kind of sounded like Jack Black there.
Oh, nice. I'll take it. I'll take the compliment.
So Anaconda, this is coming out on Christmas Day this year in a couple weeks.
Christmas miracle.
Yes, counter programming. The movie's directed by Tom Gormican. He directed The Awkward Moment and The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This movie stars Paul Rudd, Jack Black, Tandy Wade Newton, and Steve Zahn. And like I said, it's coming out on Christmas Day.
There's some other movies that Paul Rudd and Steve Zahn are in. I was trying to remember them. I didn't look it up. I was like last night I was talking to somebody and they were like, "Oh yeah, I like Steve Zahn's having a kind of a comeback. He did a lot of like kind of like indie comedy movies that never really landed, but he seems to be sort of like getting back in a rhythm." And I was like, and they mentioned it like funny. A Paul Rudd, Steve Zahn.
Yeah, I would imagine they were in a movie together, and
I mean, I'm sure they're in a bunch of them.
Jack Black and Paul Rudd were in a movie together too. I feel like they've been in one. But yeah, I did not look back either. But yeah, Steve Zahn's funny.
Yeah, I mean it's a great cast.
A good Steve Zahn movie. Not to go off on a tangent. Check out Perfect Getaway. Check it out.
Okay.
Yeah. Just go in blind. Don't watch the trailer. Just go in. It's pretty fun.
Okay.
It's not a horror movie. It's nice. Just go in blind. It's fun.
Have you seen Battle Royale like from 2001? The original like Japanese.
No, it's on my list.
Okay, so I just watched it. You should watch it going in blind. Otherwise,
I mean,
I'm curious. You know the concept.
Yeah, I have the idea. I have the concept. Yes, but yeah,
it's interesting
it on Blu-ray.
The dubbing is pretty hurting, but
watch it in just
original with the subtitles. Yeah.
All right, cool. So this is clearly a sort of remake,
but it's not a remake. I don't know if it's a remake. Yeah. It's like a
yes,
honoring the original meta.
Yes, it's not a remake, but so did you ever watch the original Anaconda?
No, of course I watched the original.
You're not big on.
I think I've watched it twice. Okay. I mean, it's such a bad movie. It's so great. It's great that it's not a horror movie. It's supposed to be a horror movie, but it's like saying Gremlins is a horror movie.
Okay, but still, like if I recall from previous episodes, you're like, I don't like monsters. Real like you don't like Jaws. Again, we're bringing that back up.
I did see Jaws though. I mean, it traumatized me. Yeah.
But like I this was like I wasn't sure. Like
no, I did. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the J-Lo is super hot back in the day. I mean, she still is. And I was very young when this came out, and that alone probably could have made me watch the movie.
Yeah. No, I remember I saw this in theaters back. I don't know. It came out in '97, so I was like 15. So yeah, it was fun. It was a big hit. I remember when it came out.
Which is really funny looking back at it though, because like, do you remember the movie?
Not like beat for beat, but like overall. I remember this one moment. Like I was like, oh god, that's horrible, and it had nothing to do with the snake. It was like someone on the crew, because it's a documentary crew, right? Like
no, I thought well sort of. I think it's more they're like they're going to prove the existence of or something.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like sort of documentary, yeah.
Okay. And John Voight is like the expert, right? But like there's someone on the crazy crew, person. His water bottle, do you remember this? Like he like drinks it and like he's like gagging or choking, and then John Voight comes over and like I think he cuts his throat. Okay. And there's like a giant like wasp or something.
Oh.
I was
I
like,
don't
that
remember that
was
now. I'm like remembering vaguely, but it's like just you saying it maybe just created that image in my
because I
head.
think
But
like in his water bottle, like that bug got caught in
yeah,
there and he drank it and was like, oh, that was pretty gnarly. Um, but
I
yeah,
just remember
I
the
haven't
like
seen this movie in a long
a
time, so I
long time.
kind of when this trailer dropped, I was like, oh, I should watch this again. Um,
It's I mean it's very of its time, like action
yes.
thriller where
Oh yeah.
like the CG is decent, um, but it's like it's like very directed, over the top, and almost campy, but not. I mean, I think it's campy in retrospect, but
Yeah.
like it wasn't meant to be campy.
Yeah.
I mean, just as was it The Room wasn't meant to be a comedy, but it ended up being.
Okay, cool. So what you? All right, we got this trailer. It's being called a trailer, so not a teaser. So
I mean, it's like
what?
2.5 minutes long, right?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, full trailer. So what'd you think?
I really enjoy that the snake is kind of as fake CGI as the original
Yeah.
Anaconda. Like it's pretty decent, but it's like so big and kind of absurd that it it's it doesn't fully get over the uncanny valley. I
Mm-hmm.
think like it just doesn't have the wetness feel, the thing, the like sheen kind of thing of a snake with scales to the full extent, which I think it adds to the comedy. And but I like that it's tame originally, and they're like, oh, it's just a giant snake, which like of course nobody would feel comfortable with. And I love the line, like, we have to go into the jungle and find another one. Like that's where they go with it, is and you're like, oh, this is that moment in the horror movie where they're like, we got to split up and go each into different rooms in the middle of the night in the dark, or down, corridors. Like this is smart, which I just thought was like a great setup, and you can like see it coming, and you want that too. Like I feel like from the beginning where they're like, we're going to, do this, we're going to reshoot it, you want it, you're waiting for this to happen, and them have to, go to the absurd route.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed that. I'm gonna pause there for some of your thoughts. That was like some of my initial thought. I
Mm-hmm.
will say I love the like My Anaconda song choice. They had
Yes,
some good like.
that's like my favorite thing. I think they use. So yeah, for me, it plays well. When I first heard about this movie
Mhm.
in the trades, it's like, oh, I read the headline that Sony was doing a reboot, and I think the headline said reboot of
Interesting.
Anaconda. I was
Yeah.
like, oh well, they're scraping at the bottom of the barrel. I was like, all right, I guess we're due for an Anaconda monster movie. Monster movies play pretty well or whatever,
Hmm.
mid-range budgets. And then I read the article. I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be something different, meta comedy, and about a group of people making a reboot, their own little indie reboot of Anaconda. So I was like, all right, this could be fun, funny cast. My interest is peaked. So that's what my initial thoughts. And then when the trailer came out, I was like, all right, let me see what this is about. It plays like a typical studio trailer. I thought it flowed well with the concept setup, and
Hmm.
it gives you the bare minimum background on the characters and backstory. It has a good amount of jokes. I feel like they don't
Yeah.
overdo it. And there's that popular song to drive the action and comedy. And again, I think the comedy and action moments in the trailer ebb and flow nicely. They rise and fall, and they give you these quiet moments to set up the upcoming joke, or the turn of the joke. And it has like that. It may not like feel real obvious, but there's a sort of turn in the trailer where it's like, oh, we're gonna go make this movie, and then it all falls apart once they kill the snake, and then they have to go out in the jungle to find the
They
snake, and
have
that's sort
to.
of the
They have to go
they
out
have to
into the jungle.
to go find the snake. I mean, when you have a director who has a vision, he's gonna like
And
let's
nine
make it
thousand
happen.
four hundred dollars for your budget, your on location budget, which I think is also hilarious because like that would cover maybe food and lodging if
Yeah,
you went really cheap.
no, yeah, totally. And and I love Steve Zahn's like reaction to that when they got approved for that emoji. He's like, yeah, like that was like a
Yeah.
score and win. So yeah, I think that the trailer just like does a good job at when you watch this trailer, you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
You're down for this concept, you like the cast and all of that, and I can't say like whether or not, oh, if you're a huge fan of the original Anaconda movie, like this is what you want. But for me, I'm not a big proponent of reboots, but I'm a big proponent of like, hey, maybe doing something different
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is completely different. So that's intriguing. The opening bit though, I feel like where it just like, I like that it dives right into the concept. Jack Black rushes in
Yeah.
to talk to Paul Rudd and is like, hey, we're doing it. We're going to reboot Anaconda. And I like that. It's like, boom, cut to the chase. You do it. But also I felt like it was just sort of flat. Like I'm tired of those like jokes where it's like one character says something to another that's like really absurd. And the character responds. It's like, yeah, that sounds good. And it's like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah. I think it's flat because it's played out a lot. It's used many times.
Yeah, I almost that opening. I wonder if it's even in the movie because it feels like they were like on set, like, hey, well let's shoot this and we can include it in the opening of the trailer. It just feels flat. Like Paul Rudd just, I don't know. Does it? I'm like, why is he looking into the camera in his close up? Jack Black isn't. It's just like there's some weird choices there. So like I like that they dive right into the concept right there, but then it also just feels flat, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be kind of stupid. But then I think the trailer gets better. I also like that they didn't have like a post-title stinger gag where they throw in like their biggest and best joke from the movie at the end. So normally it would be like Anaconda, and then there's like, here's another joke. And
though they did sort of have that like, I'm here, I'll save you, and then the snake come and just like eat whatever random woman that I thought was like almost like a button, but it wasn't.
Like that could have easily probably been a button, but they didn't, and I like that. Like there's like, boom, title, when's it coming out? Boom, that's it. No more like, it's like I feel like when a lot of trailers do that, it's just like, let's throw in one more thing and maybe we can hook them in some more. They're just trying to like hit like a quota on jokes and things like that. So I like that they didn't do that. And yeah, going back to the song, Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot, I think that use of it was great. I kind of lost it when Jack Black and Tandy Way lip sync in the edit.
In
like,
the car,
I mean, I don't know. I'm curious how that is in the movie, but like the way they did it in the trailer, I assume it's just created for the trailer. It's just like perfect. Really funny. And then the needle drop comes in and just drives the rest of the trailer. I thought those are good use and perfect use. And that song to me is a top 10 1990s song.
What is like top 10 night? What does that mean? Like top 10, like from if you were like a review of the decade, these are like my top 10 songs.
Just instant. Like that's a top 10 1990 song for me.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give it Baby Got Back. I mean, I don't know the lyrics to most songs, and I do know a lot of lyrics to that song. So I guess that would be an agreement from me then, just based on how many times I must have listened to it. I did never look up the actual measurements and what that would look like. But
measurements for what?
Baby Got Back. Like, no, oh wait, sorry. Oh my gosh. I was thinking I Like Big Butts and I Cannot Lie, which is a different song, right?
No, that's the same song.
But it's the same song, yeah. No, so I'm not wrong. No, but they give measurements. It's like 24, blah, 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 blah. It's like the waist.
Oh, yes,
it's like waist, hips, bust or something.
Yeah,
the measurements. I actually don't know what, like, they're like, oh, there are these numbers. I'm like, I don't know what they actually mean. I mean, I also was like little, like I didn't understand the references.
Yeah, of course, when you're little, but now.
But now I still haven't looked up the measurements. Like I mean, one of them I think is like the size of somebody's butt in circumference if you measured with a measuring tape. Like, I'm sorry, I've never done that. I don't know.
Well, I don't think you can measure circumference with measuring tape because it's too straight.
No,
You
yeah,
need this like the seamstress
yeah, it's
measuring
they use
rule.
a
That's not
cloth.
tape.
It's a cloth
It's,
measuring tape. Not
okay,
all measuring
they
tapes are
call it
made of
tape.
metal. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, I didn't. I didn't.
yeah.
Anyways, what else did you think about this
Um, I I
trailer?
I really liked the nods. So the first one
Mm,
that stood out to me, and this is I did watch the OG 1997 Anaconda trailer just to like remind myself,
mm,
and starting at 106 into it, the snake in the water perspective, it's like when they do sort of the turn, the snake in the water where you're seeing like water underneath and you're kind of watching is a match cut almost exactly to 58 seconds into the 1997 Anaconda trailer, the first
mm,
trailer, which I
yeah.
thought was really interesting because it's like they're doing those nods, and then I started going down a rabbit hole of like doing associations that maybe aren't don't exist. But 120 in, when they're in the car, and this is I think right before that, the My Anaconda comes up, um, they have the person smashed against the window, and then the snake kind of head, which I thought was somewhat of a nod to Jurassic Park when you've got the T Rex looking in to the car. Not a full one, but like it's
Yeah, yeah.
reminiscent of it. And then again, near the end, when Jack Black's character is like running away with a little boar on his back, which I think is just hilarious. Like, and they're like, didn't you check that he didn't have a pulse? I thought they did a really good job with that whole moment in the trailer because you don't fully know what happened, but
Yeah.
you get the humor of it, so that when you
Hmm.
do watch the scene, it's not going to be like a lot of these comedy trailers where they just like give you the whole punchline and everything build up because they're trying to make it funny.
Hmm.
But when he's running out of the jungle, you've got the shaking of the trees in the jungle that reminded me, at least, of the smoke monster in Lost. Like there was often like the jungle is kind of shaking, um,
Hmm.
and then at the end, I think it might be the last sort of shot of the trailer where he's like running out. He clears, and then you sort of see just the image almost of the snake kind of like flying out or about to fly out from like the jungle-ish
The
whatever
yeah
area
vegetation. Yeah.
vegetation, and that felt to me almost like a nod to Tremors. Remember the ending of Tremors where they like blow up in the back, and then the worm like jumps forward and he like dives out of the way last second. Like it
Yeah.
reminded me a little bit of that, which is almost also very similar to um oh, what's the name of the movie? Love and Monsters. Do you ever see that movie? The one where it's like the I don't know, like some kind of meteorite came down and all of like the worms and different things got giant, and it's this guy and he's like usually kind of scared, but he decides to go cross to save, the love interest. And there's some creature that goes underground. And again, a very similar like jumping out towards the one of the leads kind of looks, that
Hmm.
maybe it's not necessarily a nod, but it's something that is done a lot in that
Got it.
genre. But it just gave me it felt like they were playing homage. They were doing an homage.
Homage.
How does that pronunciation? Homage to a lot of these other ones potentially. Or I'm just reading into it. But I like that aspect of it where the things that people are comfortable with seeing, you're seeing in it, even though it's this meta thing. And I think a lot of meta stuff leans on those tropes as well.
Yeah.
Um,
One
yeah,
wonders though, are they homages or just like, hey, this is what other movies have done, so we'll just do those things.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's. I like that last part of the trailer where it's sort of like it's an extended bit that
Hmm.
closes out the trailer. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny. It is. It does feel like a big comedic moment, but I think it works. I mean, if you're in that situation, they,
Sorry. Are you about to
this,
say if you were in that situation, you would kill a little tiny boar and then tape it to a friend that you thought would died and have them as bait?
well, I'm based on these characters. I don't think they killed and hunted a boar to do that. I
No, no,
feel like
no.
the
I think
boar
it's
was probably
like,
dead.
yeah,
But no, what I'm saying is like, I mean, if you were in this sort of situation, like, okay, it's, Paul Rudd's idea of like, oh, we can use him as bait to escape is, like, is this something that you would consider doing,
I mean,
to survive yourself, assuming you check the pulse of your friend, colleague, that to confirm he or she was dead before doing
sure, but
this.
like, why put a little boar on top of him? Like, he's a big enough bait by himself. Like, I mean,
No, I think that's fine. I think it adds to the humor.
oh yes, oh,
Um,
100%.
but just like using whatever. I mean, I think the boar, it just adds more humor to
I
it,
just
and
like,
like,
I like how
yeah, I
you're
want.
like, this is, of course, this is logical. Yeah,
I mean, it could be, but I don't believe that they've killed this boar. I
it
don't
looked
think
really
this group.
small. It looked like a really small boar. I feel
It's a
like,
pretty big boar. I just don't think they are capable of doing that. I based
hey,
on
they killed an anaconda already.
Yeah, that was accidental. This, it
I
seems
think they,
like
I
it
think they
was
killed the boar accidentally. Go ahead, though. Sorry.
I don't think so. I think the boar was killed by the snake and probably spit up because it just has like this gunk on it, like as if it was like mid digestion and they
Okay.
spit it.
Okay.
And so they, oh, let's use this. This group of four don't seem capable of killing a boar. But anyways, regardless, um, like if you're in that situation, would you do something similar just to be able to like, okay, well,
I'm gonna say
escape?
if I was in that situation, I would create multiple different traps using different bait. So I'd use the boar as one piece of bait for a certain type of trap, and then I'd use Jack Black as a different bait for a different trap, so that I would have better odds of catching it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. How about what do you think of that? What do you think of that idea?
It could work. I also, I mean, I look forward to potentially seeing like what it is, why they put something in
Yeah.
his mouth.
Yes.
I feel like that in and itself is like will kill him just as badly than like the snake, because like what kind of bacteria is in that? Is it part of the boar? Is it the boar's leg, a tail? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
or some other, like, the bacteria on that it's just got to be just horrible, and like you're dead already again. Or
I like how it comes down to the bacteria. Like maybe they had hand sanitizer and they just doused it in hand sanitizer first.
what do you think happens there? Obviously, the trailer, it cuts before we see what the snake does. Yeah, I,
Yeah, I
I
mean, I
suspect the
think that's the
snake. I suspect the anaconda is not biting or grabbing Jack
Jack Black.
Black there.
No, and I think but I think that's the great cliffhanger of this trailer, because it is one of the leads, and unless we're on the TV show Lost, like you're not killing one of your leads for real in a movie, which does create the situation where whenever Jack Black does die in the movie, it's hard to believe he's going to stay dead, right? That he's actually dead. Other than the only one I can think of is was it Deep Blue and Samuel L. Jackson? Is that the right one? The
Oh
one with
yeah,
the
Deep Blue
shark.
Sea. Yeah.
Like that's a great way to kill off a name actor as a character, and he's not coming back from that one. But like the thing that I loved about the way they ended this trailer is they leave it sort of on a cliffhanger. They don't have this, like as you said, button at the end, and on top of it, you're like, oh my god, how does he get out of it? Like, yeah, maybe he misses, maybe he dives out of the way, maybe the snake just, and this is going to be like the happenstance of how they did it, just latches onto the boar, and now they're like, oh, we got to get the duct tape off of him, but it's like right there because you'd have close. Like it leaves it up to the viewer to be like, oh man, I want to know, which is exactly what I think a trailer should do. Like that's one of the things I think this trailer did really well is, one, it'll make people go, maybe I want to watch the OG Anaconda to see kind of what they're making fun of, but I don't necessarily need to. But two, so many moments where you're like, oh, I want to see what's next, instead of, oh, I saw all the good parts.
Yeah.
And it's still 2.5 minutes. It's not like they didn't fill it with a lot of things.
Yeah, no, it's surprisingly like it's not like peppered with jokes throughout and like set pieces. Like it partially plays a bit kind of like a teaser with
Mm-hmm.
more sort of trailer components, giving a little bit away. But yeah, I think it was nicely constructed, and
Yeah.
so
Do
I
you
have some
got it? Yeah, YouTube corner.
YouTube comments.
Yes.
Here we go. So, some of the comments that stood out to me. Okay. Hats off to the cameraman who recorded the people recording the Anaconda reboot and got out safely to ensure we see the people recording the Anaconda reboot.
Love meta comments.
That's a good one. This is basically Tropic Thunder, but instead of a war movie, it's a giant snake movie. I'm seated. None of this cast is in
I
Tropic
don't.
Thunder, right?
Uh,
Oh wait, no, Jack Black is.
Jack Black's
Is.
in
He
Tropic
plays.
Thunder.
That's
I
right.
see. I have slight issue with this because Tropic Thunder was they were actors doing a movie, and then the director is like, we're putting you into real life, and they thought it wasn't real throughout the movie, except for they all thought it wasn't real going through, and it was just the director messing with them, even though it was real. In this movie, it seems like it is actually happening to them.
Well, no, I mean it's obviously not a 1-to-1, but I think in Tropic Thunder, the director puts them in this like real life scenario, but then like Ben Stiller's character thinks once they've go kind of like off the movie set, he thinks everything that they're doing is real. Not that the director was like, "Hey, you guys got to get kidnapped and you're going to have this." I forget where it takes place and who the sort of like the enemy is.
It's like
But
it's like an East
think,
Asian country, because it.
so like I don't think if I recall, like the director was not like, "Oh, we're gonna put them in this real situation," or like with this actual like
Yeah.
warring.
No. He's like, I put up cameras and I hid things places to make it seem real.
Yeah. But that's a great movie nonetheless. But yeah, I
yes.
see some of the similarities.
No, I do too. I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah. And the other comment that I noted here, nothing good ever comes of Jack Black playing a film director in A Jungle Man.
Oh, I think this is going to be way better than the King Kong remake. I think it's a reference to King Kong, right? Because doesn't he?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, not well. I don't know. I haven't seen this movie, but like, no, it's just like, I think it's just people referencing things that they've seen. And
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Jack Black has made a lot of movies.
He's playing a director again, and then chaos ensues with the giant creatures. All right, cool. So what's your verdict?
My rating? I definitely see this. I don't think, if I even could get out to movies, I don't think I necessarily would need to see it in a movie theater. Like I'll definitely stream it as soon as it comes to streaming. I think it'd be fun to see in theaters. Truthfully, I think we've talked about this. The advantage you get in theaters is the audience jumps, the audience laughing together. Like I feel like this is one of those ones where they'll do a good job of throwing people off guard, and then people will like all react together, which is a lot of fun. But I also could see myself like buying this on streaming maybe and watching it multiple times. Not buying it on, you know what I mean? Buying it digitally.
Sight unseen.
No, I don't know. I bought everything everywhere all at once, sight unseen, because of just people telling me it was so great, and it was like comparable, and that I've watched at least 3 times since buying it. I don't know. No, I probably wouldn't buy it sight unseen, but I if people tell me that it was really good, I think it might be a fun one to like have in the collection. How about you?
Cool. I would, I'm kind of torn. Would I see this in theaters or stream it? I think it could be fun in theaters. I'd see it in theaters.
All right.
Not necessarily like opening weekend,
No. I feel like this one was going to have some lasting power.
I'm not
of
rushing
people
to the theaters.
Like
I would catch it in theaters. Comedies are fun in theaters, and so I'd see it in theaters.
I think action comedies especially. I think some comedies you're like, meh, but I think action comedies in theaters play better too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe as always, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast.
Anaconda.